Hello and welcome to another Weekly Wonder from me, Steve M. Nash. Believe it or not, I have not recorded one of these Weekly Wonder videos for at least 6 months. At the end of last year, I decided to give up recording videos, but now I'm back. I'm going to record a Weekly Wonder video, one every July, every year for the next 26 years. I hope you, me and YouTube are around that long. My Weekly Wonder videos first started in 2010, 2011, and I recorded them around my favourite parts of West Yorkshire, England, and London and Australia. And then I redid them in 2015, 2016. I got halfway through. There were 52 to do. I got halfway through, 26, and then I just ran out of steam. This is video number 27, and it's July the 5th, 2016, and I'm going to be talking about Michael Neill's inspirational words. You're not afraid of what you think you're afraid of. You're afraid of what you think. And for simplicity's sake, because I'd like not to have a computer in a few years' time, I'm going to do this in one edit, as simple as possible, no fancy graphics, just nice and simple, one simple take. I've already edited this once because the introduction sounded rubbish. Now I'm committed, so I'm going to have to carry on. However bad this gets, this is what you're going to get. Welcome, Weekly Wonder. Woohoo! I hope this is not the first time you've ever watched one of my videos, but if it is, hello. Let's get on with the quote. You're not afraid of what you think you're afraid of. You're afraid of what you think. I spoke about this 2 or 3 years ago and I didn't really know what to say. But now it's more obvious to me. We all live in separate realities. We all live in our own world. And that's pretty obvious, isn't it, really, if you think about it. Nobody sees the world as you do, or as I do. Nobody. We are unique creatures, creating our reality moment by moment via the power of thought. So when something happens, a situation, a breakup, a getting together, or winning the lottery, not winning the lottery, an accident, an injury, a long lost friend shows up, a friendship breaks up. When something happens, we get to think about that something. We think different things about events, about situations, about circumstances. But we think it's a circumstance that we don't, that's making us feel miserable or it's making us feel happy. And the truth is, and it's a subtle truth, it's not the circumstance, but what we think of the circumstance. Not the circumstance, but what we think of the circumstance. So, let's say I'm thinking about, I'm in a job, 9 to 5, regular, Monday to Friday. I'm thinking about the future. Will my job be secure? And my thoughts about it, I'm not sure if I'll be secure. Oh, there's lots of new people coming. Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Oh, maybe I'm going to lose my job. And so the thought will make me feel anxious. I'll have anxious thinking. I'll have insecure thinking. Somebody else might feel excited about the prospect of losing their job. So it's our thoughts that are disturbing us, not events. I'm going to try and make I don't know if you understand what I'm saying there. I don't feel I'm explaining myself very well. Never mind. I'm going to illustrate this point, and I'm like to make my videos topical. Not to make a point so that this gets added to the conversation at the time, but more to to give a perspective to problems that we seem to have. And you watch this video in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, you'll see that the problem wasn't really a problem. It worked out one way or another, it worked out. But a few weeks ago we voted to leave the EU, so-called Brexit. I'm British, by the way. We voted to leave the EU. The next day, some people were jubilant, some people were puzzled. A lot of people were frightened and scared and anxious and crying. Some people even allowed their negative, hostile, unloving thoughts to the surface. They believed those thoughts, and they actually acted in a racist way to Europeans that are living in the UK. Something happens, a vote, 52% out, 48% in, many different responses. Something happens, many different responses. And those different responses were because of the different thoughts that people had. Some people thought uncertainty, exciting. Some people thought uncertainty, I don't like the thoughts of uncertainty. We didn't like the thought. The event, leaving the EU, or the vote, we haven't actually left the EU yet. The vote was one thing. The response, what we thought of it, was completely different and very varied. We're not afraid of what we think we're afraid of. We're afraid of what we think. I don't know if that makes sense to you. If you can see the truth of that. Something else about thinking that is slightly startling, but also true, is you never know what you're going to think. You never know what you're going to think. You could think something about a subject all your life, and suddenly you change your mind. You could like reggae music, I like reggae music. I don't really like reggae music, but you could like reggae music. And then you don't like it. For no reason, you suddenly don't like it. That happened to me with jazz. I used to be into jazz, now I don't really like it. Jazz hasn't changed. How I think about it, what I feel about it has changed. It's the same with our thinking. You don't know what you're going to think, and you don't know what you're going to think about what you think. Often you think the same things, you have habitual thoughts, you might doubt, have fears with uncertainty. You might always have had doubts and fears with uncertainty. A time will come when uncertainty excites you. You will, I am guarantee that if you are a human being watching this, your thoughts have changed about things. Number one, and you don't know what you're going to think in the next 5 minutes or the next half an hour or tomorrow. Number two. So with that in mind, if we're not afraid of what we think we're afraid of what we think, and we don't really know what we're going to think, kind of makes fear a bit of a nonsense. Thoughts are going to come through my head, a stream of them. Sometimes certain thoughts appear in certain situations, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes I have random thoughts, and where did that thought come from? It just pops into my head, and sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't like it. I don't control what I think. And as I said, I have changed my opinion on things. I've changed my thoughts about several things that have surprised me. So as human beings, we have thoughts going through our heads, but we don't control the thoughts. We don't control really what we think about those thoughts. We really don't. So if you're afraid, or if you're excited, if you're happy, if you're sad, this is just, all this means is you have frightening, happy, sad thoughts in your head. That is all it means. It does not mean anything other than that. Any projection, any thought built on another thought, on another thought, on another thought, on another thought, what it'll look like in 5 years, what it'll look like in 10 years, what it means, any thought about what it means, that is nonsense. That is nonsense. It's just made up nonsense. Anytime you or I have a theory about something, what it means to be human, what it means to when people don't think how you think, what it means when people do think how you think. Any theory, share it with the stars. Tell the stars and see what they make of your theory, of the meaning you give to life. Rambling. I usually ramble in my weekly wonders. I think I've covered everything in this. These are kind of my rough notes. I think I've covered everything. Be interesting to see what people think about the Brexit vote next year when I record my next weekly wonder. 5 years' time, when we will be out, or maybe we won't be out. 10 years' time, 20 years' time. Perspective. Tomorrow, for example, the Chilcot inquiry will reveal its findings, and lots of fingers will start pointing in lots of directions at certain people, probably including Tony Blair. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but the world will look different tomorrow, and people have different thoughts about what the Chilcot inquiry had to say. People will think, because that's what people do. We think. The trouble is, we take what we think far too seriously. Maybe you've got certain values that you hold dear, and you will always hold those thoughts. Okay, so be it. Think what you want to think. But I know that you have changed your mind on some subjects that you once held dear. Now, maybe that's because you've grown up or become maturer or had a conversation with somebody and they've educated you. But before that happened, you took that thought seriously, and now you don't. And that is true of all the thoughts that we have ever had. They're just things that go into our mind, make up our reality. We decide to believe it, we don't. We decide not to believe it. And then another thought, and then another thought. We are not afraid of what we think we're afraid of. We are afraid of what we think. And there really is no need to be afraid of what you think. My name is Steve M. Nash, and I run smnash.com and selfhelpcollective.com. And whether I run that in 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, 26 years, who knows? I wonder if YouTube will be around in 26 years. Anyway, keep watching these videos. You could subscribe to my newsletter, Weekly Wonder, at selfhelpcollective.com, or you could subscribe to this YouTube channel. And in a year's time, there'll be another one of these. I know. It's a long time to wait, isn't it? It will probably be as rambling as this. What can you say? Makes a change from all that jump cutting and that happen on other videos, and no pussycats, and no babies laughing, and okay, I'll go. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.